I'm Pati, and welcome back to A Small Geeky Chica figures. Today we're continuing with our Nendoroid collection with entry number 20, Midoriya Izuku Hero Editions, Nendoroid number 686. And we're taking a break from Haikyuu again, and we're actually moving on to My Hero Academia. And even though this is showing up pretty early-ish in my Nendoroid collection, I actually got this particular one much later after its original release. I think it was definitely a re-release when I was finally able to get my hands on it. And so it's coming up way earlier than I actually had it in my collection. So if you do stick around to the end of the video and watch all my Nendoroid photography, I'm not gonna have a lot of with Deku-kun, but hopefully I'll be able to do more in the future and put it maybe on the body of some Nendoroid dolls and have some fun photo shoots. But for now, let's take a look at this Nendoroid who hasn't been out of his box that much. So we have his little basic freckled cute face right there, which is the one he has on right now. And then he comes with a more action-based face right there when he's ready to do a punch. And then he also has his like crying in pain face when he's still fighting and he's kind of breaking his body, bringing it to the brink of what it can do. He definitely has a little, what would you call them? Like an onomatopoeia, little, well, not onomatopoeia, because he's actually yelling out his attack. But like they would be in comics, you'd have the little call out right there. If someone knows what it's called right now, my head is blanking on what they're called, so like let me know in the comments. But yeah, he has his little cute hero pose and he's definitely ready. And also his like more terrified pose from earlier in the series. He's looking pretty adorable with his freckles and yeah, he's ready to take out some villains. So let's get him out of this box. Okay, now that we've switched over to overhead, let's get this little dude out of his box. So here we have Deku. As you can see, he doesn't come with as many parts as some of the other Nendoroids we've seen, especially like some of the Haikyuu ones that come with a lot of different arms, legs, extra parts. But I believe if I'm remembering correctly, he also has joints that are more like the Marth Nendoroid that we opened, where he's actually a lot more bendable and doesn't need separate parts to like bend his knees, bend his elbows. So that's why he mostly comes with extra face plates, a couple of extra hands, and the big smash. So let's get him out of this blister, shall we? As you should know by now, these Nendoroids always come with this little guide of all the pieces. He comes with the 3 face plates, the 5 extra hand pieces, the typical stand, nothing special, to hold up different parts, to hold him up, and to hold the smash up. You have the little extension right there. Yeah, but a pretty simple Nendoroid in terms of different parts to remove and change. Always in Japanese on the other side. But yeah, let's take a look at Deku. Here he is. See if we can focus on Deku. He's very cute. So this one, as you can tell, I haven't taken him out. He doesn't really have as much scuff marks or like paint rubs and stuff like that. Like my other Nendoroid, he's very clean. But he is super adorable. And like I was saying earlier, I do believe he is a re-release. But let's take a look. He does have a lot more movable joints than most other Nendoroids typically do. Oh, sorry. Yes, you can see you can rotate his shoulder a lot easier because it has a little ball joint right down there. If you can see, his head moves, but that's typical. I think his elbows should bend, although I've been in a box for a while, so it's been a little difficult. But yeah, if you can see, his elbows do kind of bend on their own, similar to Marth. Although, unlike Marth, I don't feel like this one's gonna fall apart on me. So you can definitely tell this is a much later design for all those parts. His belt isn't moving around as crazily like Marth, but it is actually like glued on. But yeah, he has knee joint. Finding out this part of the shoe is movable. But yeah, his legs are definitely more bendable and you can pose them without having to switch them out. So we're just putting him in a whole bunch of funky positions, but yeah, moving around his joints. So that's why he doesn't come with as much parts as like the Haikyuu ones, like I've said before, which you actually have to remove all parts to put him into a different position. He is actually more like a doll or an action figure. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty unique. Out of all the Nendoroids I have so far, we've only really seen this with Marth. So that is pretty cool. Trying to get his lines to align to make sure that I have his body in like the right position, which is very easy to mess up. But yeah, we have the really cute face, and then we have his fighting face and his crying face, which is also pretty adorable, I have to say. And then we have his hand in the form of gloves and different positions depending how you want to put him, if he's gonna fight or not. His hand is like very powerful. And then we have when he definitely hurt his finger by putting all of his power into one of them to do his attacks, which is very earlier on in the series when he still doesn't, his body is still not ready to control the power, and it ends up damaging him a lot. So yeah, we have a lot of different hand options, but now let's try to pick what pose we want. Let's see. His little ski pose, and then he's doing his big smash. What was it? Detroit smash? Let's see if you can see those. I kind of just want to put him in his really basic position, which is not the most interesting, but I think it would be the easiest one to pose him in. And I don't, as much as I love his little crying, scared face, I'm not going to be doing that to him today. I want him to be a little more hero-y. So let's just, that one should be pretty easy to do because he already has his fists on. So all we have to do is bend his arms and put his hands facing up like that, and then we just bend at the elbow and have his arm face up, and then make sure it's not too turned up, and we can keep them close to his body, and then he has a bit of a wide stance, and then it just would be pretty much like that. He does not stand on his own. Most Nendoroids don't, they're top heavy. So we'll get out his stand, which is a very typical stand. Put that in his back, which I might have trouble with since I don't use him that much, and so sometimes the plastic will warp and then this becomes a little difficult. Let's see, yeah, right now it doesn't seem to want to go in, so give me a second. I'm gonna take off his head, how you can't with most Nendoroids, and see if I can get it in. So there he is, there with his stand in there. It was like a little, like I said, a little troubling because it's been a long time since I've even tried to pose him. So a lot of times when I do photography, I kind of just like to have them use the stand as a little third point to help them stand up without even having to use this part. But they do tip over, which is probably how I've gotten a lot of scuffs. But here is Deku from My Hero, ready to take on a villain early on in his career. He still doesn't have full control of his powers, of his quirk, but yeah, he's still super adorable and very cute, very nicely made Nendoroid, and still one of the ones that I have that's in much better condition. But I hope you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy today's video, consider giving a like and a subscribe. I do have a couple of like I said, Nendoroid photography of Deku, usually not even in this outfit, But you'll see those at the end if you stick around for a couple of more minutes. But I post Nendoroid Collection videos and unboxing videos every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or Daylight Saving Time, depending what time of the year it is. So if you enjoyed this video, we've got a lot more to come. We've got dozens and more Nendoroid. Like, we're maybe about I don't know, the 10th of the way through my Nendoroid collection or something. I'd have to really do the math. But with number 20, and we've got at least 100 more to go. So hopefully you'll stick around and check those out and get more excited as we get closer to actual new releases. But we've still got a couple of years worth of Nendoroids to go before we even get to the 2020s. But that's it for today. I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.